Cage 56 on Saturday at the 10th of December.
To the blue corner, Jocimar Ferreira.
All right, well, welcome to Cage. Jocimar Ferreira moved from one Portuguese-speaking country to another. From Brazil originally, he is now based in Portugal, and he is an experienced guy that's faced a lot of really tough guys. I mean, along the likes of Melvin Mansuijidam, and his last loss was actually to Juan Manuel Suarez, who has a record of 26-10, just a wealth of experience, and is actually ranked number 15, the number 15 welterweight in Western Europe. So Ferreira, he's been in there with some top-notch guys. Perhaps doesn't have the sexiest record, so to speak, but there's no replacement for experience.
Yeah, definitely. 16 fights into his pro career, so he's not a spring chicken, as they say.
Exactly. And half of Ferreira's wins have come via finish, 1 TKO and 2 submissions. And he made his pro debut in June of 2010, so he's been fighting for a long time as well. Once again, speaking of that experience that he's had, I mean, just think of all the training sessions in between.
And seeing Ferreira over the weekend in Helsinki, he seemed very, very relaxed. So you can see it's not like the first time he's stepping up against a tough competitor who is a massive favorite against him. So I think he's fairly confident, but also very comfortable in these kind of situations.
And he's got that veteran wildness to him, kind of like we saw with Philip Newsom before, you know, can take some hits, keep on coming, reverse some positions. So you definitely can't sleep on a guy like Jocimar Pretinho Ferreira. And he's actually coming off of a knockout victory over Rowan Martin, secured at less than 30 seconds into the first round of just 24 seconds. So talk about a fast finish.
To corner, Henri Lintula.
Welcome back, Henri Lindula. As his t-shirt and walkout music suggests, a big fan of hip-hop and also a big fan of making his fans tap. He is one slick submission fighter. He's finished his first 5 opponents in the first round, and those are no scrubs that he's been fighting. Don't think of those are, you know, people with bad records or such things. I mean, he has fought some really great guys, and he's already had 2 main events, being just 6 fights into his pro career.
In his last bout, that was, I think, 2 years ago, he suffered his first professional loss, and now he's worked extensively, especially on his striking, and using the long and lanky frame to a credit or to complement his excellent and very high-level grappling game. I think he's trying to show today that he's a much more complete fighter than he was when he lost that fight 2 years ago.
Absolutely, and I think he learned a lot from that, because it seemed like kind of the leg kicks were giving him quite a bit of problems. He just kind of slowed down his game, and it actually ended up losing. And he lost to Louis Glisman, who is one of the most underrated guys in all of Northern Europe.
And here we have the tail of the tape. Lintula being 6 centimeters taller. Ferreira quite a bit older, but also has a big experience advantage with 10 fights more than Henri Lintula.
In the blue corner, fighter with a professional record of 3 wins and 1 loss, weighing 77.3 kilos from Brazil, Jocimar Ferreira! In the red corner, Finnish fighter with a professional record of 5 wins and 1 loss, weighing 77.6 kilos, Henri Lintula!
All right, and like we said, you want to talk about finishers. Henri Lintula never been to a judge's decision. Made his pro debut in September of 2016 and TKO'd Raimonda Sinica in the very first round. I'm sure he would love to make a fantastic comeback with a quick finish once again. But maybe he wants to get some cage time. I mean, it could be a bit of a double-edged sword. Maybe he wants to get back in there, sort of feel things out a little bit, try things out. You know, he's a confident young guy. I'm sure he's confident in his skills on the ground as well. And let's see how his striking has improved since the last time we saw him. Gloves, and there we go. Talked a bit about Lintula's improved striking. He has actually trained with none other than UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya. That will definitely help him sharpen up your striking, that's for sure. And despite coming from a first loss in his career, I think Lintula, he took the loss very, very well. I mean, I truly think he learned a lot from it. And he actually spent the rest of that night hanging out in a bar with his opponent, Louis Glisman, sharing some beers, having some chats.
Lindula starting off very measured, and you can see that tall, lanky frame. And he like I said, he has worked on his striking over the past year or so, and he has the physicality to pull off that kind of long, straight punches, striking game very effectively, even though he's not the youngest guy anymore, and grappling is his strong suit. But I think he can still make something happen striking-wise.
I mean, he's got a frame of a Muay Thai practitioner as well, so I'm sure that he could transition perfectly into striking.
Or a lanky guard player.
Or that. Hey, 2 for 1, why not? Oh, look at that. Ferreira catches a kick, takes him down.
That's brave to go and grapple with Henri Lintula right at the bat. So, because on my paper, I was pretty sure Ferreira wants to keep this one standing, but apparently confident in his own grappling attack as well.
He's got Lintula here in the guillotine, but Lintula is in half guard, and it is a lot harder to get that tap from half guard.
Oh, he gets it to close guard. It's hard to finish when he's back against or neck against the cage, because he can't really get an extension on that. But it is under the chin, so if he can re-angle a little bit, but now Lindula is working back to half guard, so it's very hard to finish from here.
It looks uncomfortable,
yeah, it looks tight, but
it's that veteran prowess that we were talking about from Ferreira. There just is no substitute for experience. You gotta be careful. You don't want to burn yourself out. You know, put everything into that first submission attempt, and then you end up with a dead arm.
Yeah, but to be honest, with gets the close guard again. With Henri Lintula on top. Also, if he kind of lets go from the head in a bad position, he might just make it worse. So
good point.
So at least now he's in a close guard. He has a chance to tie up and maybe not engage too much in traditional BJJ exchanges.
Let's see what Lintula can do here from the top position. No stranger to tapping out his opponents, such as with his very first main event, which was at Fight Club Rush 5 against the hometown hero Robin Roos. Tapped him out in the very first round.
Lintula moves easily to mount, and he has very heavy hips and good top control.
That pass was like a hot knife through butter, I'll tell you that. That was smooth.
And he's trying to switch for an arm triangle.
Ferreira recognizes the threat, trying to create some space.
He's turning into a bit of a Nogi Ezekiel from here. And you can actually tap someone once you get a lot of pressure here. Yeah.
Oh. Wow, welcome back to the win column, Henri Lintula. That was slick. And it seemed like kind of a clear-cut thing. The moment Ferreira spit out his mouthpiece, that is usually the last-ditch thing you do when you're trying to gasp for air.
It is when you go for an arm triangle and your opponent starts to turn kind of mid-waist, especially with long arms. If you can lock that, switch the grip to as if a rear naked choke, it's like a kind of a Nogi Ezekiel variation. That in a gi you would do the same with grabbing your own sleeve, but in MMA or Nogi context, you switch to like a rear naked choke grip, and that's what Lindula did. And with those long arms and that black belt squeeze, it's very, very difficult to get out.
And it was almost like they traded guillotine positions right at the beginning, but at the end, it was the grappling of the Finn, Henri Lintula, that ended up emerging victorious. Here we get to see some of that action again, and yeah, I mean, Ferreira recognized the threat, tried to get out, but in the end, that squeeze was just too tight. And he has got to feel great being back in the win column.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Anttila has got to stop his fight after 4 minutes and 1 second of the first round. Winner by arm triangle, Henri Lintula!
There you have it. Welcome back, Henri Lintula. Once again, keeping up the tradition of finishing his opponents in the very first round. I mean, impressive stuff. I'll give him that. That's for sure.
Henri, onneksi olkoon. Hieno voitto. Suuta kuivaa, vaikka meni ensimmäisessä erässä poikki, niinkö?
Harmi. Olisi ollut vähän lisää vielä paukkuja muuta.
Teillä oli aikamoinen mattopainikilpailu. Siinä kaveri pääsi ensin koittamaan ja sitten sen jälkeen sä näytit, että kuinka se tehdään.
Oliko se kisa? Ei. Mun mielestä se oli koko ajan hyvin niin kuin hallinnassa. Ei siinä.
Miltä se tuntui se kaverin kuristus tuossa alkuerässä?
Vähän puristaa, kun täysin vetää, mutta ei se kuristanut. Ei se siinä mitään.
Minkälaista oli lähteä ottelemaan jonkunlaisen tauon jälkeen tämmöistä arvaamatonta ja monipuolista ottelijaa vastaan?
2 vuoden tauko. Viime matsissa huomattiin jotain puutteita, reenattiin, saatais vähän tuotua jotain uutta ja sitten taas ihan samaa vanhaa. Et mennään näin nyt sitten. Teidän täytyy vielä varmaan odottaa sitä pystyottelua.
Otetaan se vaikka seuraavaksi sitten. Hieno voitto, onneksi olkoon.
Kiitos.
Henri Lintula!
And Lindula said there that he wanted to showcase his striking, or he wanted to showcase something new, but he stick to the old stuff. And he said that the audience will have to wait a little bit longer to see his striking.
Well, to be fair, he opened up on the feet. I mean, it was his opponent that caught the kick and it took the fight to the ground. But hey, I mean, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And his grappling is anything but broken.
Cage 56 on Saturday at the 10th of December.